The best ball playoffs have arrived. One more week, and we're going to be talking about our quarterfinals, semifinals, and finals teams in the next 3 weeks. Let's jump in. Welcome back to Best Ball Roundup. Here we go with the last one of the year. I think I'm going to try to do these like twice a year throughout the best ball season, maybe 3 times, depending on how things are going. But yeah, I got 2 in here. Obviously, more content coming down the pipeline. We got Build a Battle coming as well, so be excited for that. Man, it's been an awesome year. Really, obviously, it's not over yet. The fun has just begun in terms of like the best ball playoffs beginning this week. Or next week, week 15. And then we got playoff best ball just around the corner. So definitely look forward to that. It's something that cannot be overstated how enjoyable it is with like just the way playoff best ball is just formatted. It's just super fun. And then next year, it sounds like they're going to do more eliminator contests, which are really fun to sweat week to week. That could be a really fun thing to like do some research on of like what worked, what didn't work, and try to make a bunch of those with some people. And I think it's just a fun format to look at every week. Like, oh, I need this to make it through this week, and then it seems pretty fun. So we'll see how that goes. Excuse me. But as you can see, have a decent advance rate. I didn't get 150 in. I had never done 150 on the Best Ball Mania. It's just out of my bankroll. But I do try to get to like 25 to 50 entries, which I think I got to 50 last year. I had a decent, I had about an average advance rate, maybe below average. But looks like I'll get more teams in this year regardless, with like 6 less entries. So that's cool. Hoping I can max this maybe next year if my bankroll gets built from this stuff. I also have contests on DK and drafters, but mainly it was on Underdog. Had a ton of fun on Underdog as usual. But yeah, this has just been a blast. Kind of just looking back on things I've done, and the season's been a lot of fun. I have some nice big board teams we'll look at. Obviously, like when the playoffs come around, I'll be looking at those with more of a fine tooth comb. But I don't have time to stare at every team. But I do look at the BBM teams. I do check them all out. But like I did like Chihuahuas and puppies, those smaller contests. Like I'm not gonna look through every single team. It's not really worth it. But as they make the playoffs, then obviously it's more fun to look at. You kind of see what's going on. But I got one team in the top 10,000. Hopefully I can hold this one, and then this one might be able to sneak in as well. So we'll see how that goes. Looks like I'm probably in line to get maybe 2 teams into the top 10,000, maybe 3rd if this one could sneak through. But I'd be pretty happy to get 2 in the top 10,000 because that would really almost get a lot of my entry fees back. So would be nice there. Sorry about the nasaliness, but yeah. Anyways, it looks like if you don't really have to like this is a pretty good, pretty cool tool by Diablo Patrick Donovan. Very very cool tool. Shout out to him. Awesome stuff here. So you kind of can look at the BBM leaderboard. You can look at people's names and check out how their advance rates are looking. It's pretty cool little tool. It kind of gives a lot of transparency, maybe too transparent, but I think it's fine. I've never had anything to hide. I'm not going to lie about how the season goes. I'm trying to be transparent and try to learn from my lessons. And if you just lie about what you're doing, then you're not going to learn anything. So I never wanted to lie about it, but either way, it's all here. You can always look at it. But for BBM, I have a pretty good advance rate across the board, like most contests. Like some of the super flex I did pretty bad at, but I had an okay super flex season. We can take a look at those advancing teams and stuff like that. I have it all tracked, like I have my entry fees tracked. So hopefully I can make a profit this year, or break even or whatever it ends up being. Hopefully we'll see what happens. But as you can see here, I got 3 teams definitely through. Probably, if you want to say these 45 pointers are probably in as well. Like this one is to A-Rich, unfortunate. And we got a Gino, Purdy, Love. Like this team's probably through too. So realistically, guaranteed probably 6 teams through, and then I have like 6 or 7 teams on the cusp of either getting in or getting out. Like as you see, I got this 2.4 down, this 3.5 down, 33 downs possible, 22 down, 20 down, 4.3, 15. So a lot of teams like in the mix, 18 here. Like these are all live to advance and live to non-advance. And obviously I have this one that's only, up 2.5. That one could drop out. Could drop out. This 11 could drop out. So a few teams I really am excited about here. I think this A-Rich team is pretty fun. Obviously no A-Rich, but this team's super fun just because it has Jerome Ford, Ty Chandler, Chuba, Roshan, Penny, and Piran are pretty much zeros. But having Zach Moss is pretty good because he's a low owned piece. Obviously only one tight end here, which kind of sucks, but still a fun team here. I had 2 Zach Moss teams. Looks like one of them's going to get through. Hopefully this one will. This one most likely will get through. We'll see. Hopefully 2 has a decent game. Unfortunate thing is there's a couple teams. This one I think was one of them. I actually took a good amount of Kyler this year. I thought he was like a smash pick if he ended up playing like maybe even 6 games. Like he was just a good pick, and especially with the quarterback injuries that kind of like expanded. But like all my Kyler, I have two or three BBM Kyler teams, and they're all up against like the worst. Like this team could easily be in the mix. Nope, 82 points down. So there's just no way it's getting through, unless like the guy ahead of me just has a horrible week, which is possible but unlikely. So I don't think I'm gonna get the Kyler team through, which kind of sucks because I did take a lot of McBride as well. Looking like I'll be able to get maybe 1, maybe 2 McBride teams through. No guarantee there. Let me see here. I have 10. See, I had 10 McBride teams in BBM, and I think I'll get 2, maybe 3 if I'm lucky. 3 if I'm lucky. 1 if I'm unlucky. I would say probably 1 probably gets through. This one's probably dusted, and then this one has a good chance with the Herbert stuff. But looks like Henry's going to play, so this team has a good shot. CMC Henry's probably fine, and then my receivers are fine otherwise. But a little bit of unfortunate stuff there because I have 10 McBride teams. I was hoping to get a couple more through there, but definitely cool to have some McBride exposure. I felt like that was a good bet to make. Obviously Ertz was ahead of him early, but he's just like a bet on talent there, and it worked out. So McBride's been awesome. But I wish I could get a couple more teams through on BBM side, but I know that I'll have other teams with him in it, so that's cool. I just want to do a quick little like 30-ish minute roundup here, just as a precursor to like when I start talking about playoff contests and stuff. Because like these next couple of weeks, hopefully I'll have some semifinals teams, some finals teams. Hopefully, fingers crossed. I'll have a couple finals teams, if not just 1. Yeah, like after this week is when it really ramps up. Like it's going to be interesting to see those how many quarterfinals teams can get to the semis, how many semifinal teams can get to the finals. And honestly, like the way these tournaments are formatted, if you just get a team to the final, like that's a big deal. So hoping I can at least get a couple teams to the finals this year. I think this is my biggest volume year. I've gotten teams to the finals in the playoff contest, but never in a best ball contest. But like I said, this is my biggest volume year, so hopefully I can change that. But yeah, pretty fun stuff. Let's go look at I did 4 $50 plus contests on Underdog for best ball, season 1 best ball, and looks like 1 is hopefully going to advance, which is more than I can ask for. Like if I do 4 teams at high stake, if I just get 1 through, that's pretty cool. Obviously I didn't do like $1,000 team or anything like that, but looks like I'll be able to get 1 on DK and 1 on Underdog. I did 2 on DK and 4 on Underdog. I did 2 $50 contests and 2 $75 contests. Looks like I'll get 1 Chow team through. No guarantee on that, but hopefully I can get it through. We'll see what happens on that. I'll go ahead and pull up the team here. Pretty interesting. I kind of had some major run good in terms of like the players, bad run in some of the players I picked, and then some really luck in the other situations I did. So started with Chase Higgins. I think I'm up 30 points in this pod. So I have a little bit of room, but I do need Justin Fields to have a decent game, and then I should be in good shape after that. But yeah, I just hope I get this team through because this is actually a pretty fun team with a lot of good pieces that I like. So we got Chase Higgins. I think that's fine. Like Browning's been decent, so at least that gives a little bit of life to those two. Obviously, better if Burrows was playing, but it's what it is. Breece Hall, I feel good about just because I like Breece Hall and I think he has upside. Has not been playing very well. Not a lot of help from that O-line either, but we'll see what happens there. I think he's fine. We got DJ Moore has been pretty awesome pick. Justin Fields there, the 4-5 turn, Justin Fields, DJ Moore pairing, which is pretty rare in comparison to usual. I skipped on Burrow, which some would disagree with, but I'm actually ended up being lucky there, and I didn't mind it because I thought Fields just had a higher upside than Burrow in a week-to-week given week. Even if Higgins and Chase went for 101 each, I still think Fields has a bigger upside or has a higher upside. So I just felt like that was a better pick there. And then I was also able to pair him with DJ Moore. So I kind of enjoyed that. George Pickens has upside. Gabe Davis has upside. Obviously, very boom bust there. Charbonnet's had some okay weeks. We got Khalil Herbert's been kind of like meh. Mooney's been very meh, but he's there. He's playing. And then Njoku Komet's pretty sick pairing. They both, I think I was looking at the contributions. I have 3 tight ends, and they've all contributed about 70 points, which is pretty impressive. Hey, no, we're not barking. And then we have Marvin Mims, obviously just a high upside, another boom bust guy. So we got a lot of very high upside players on this team. Sam Howell's been an absolute smash. Really came in clutch when Fields was out for a couple weeks. Chuba, picked a ton of Chuba this year, so I'm happy he ended up on this squad. And then, like I said, Trey McBride. So if I get this Trey McBride team, that'd be really awesome. Was a low advance rate, low own piece in a high stake tournament at the tight end position. That'd be pretty lit. So we'll see what happens there. Fingers crossed. Big time fingers crossed there. So we will see how that all goes there. But yeah, this high stake tournament's been interesting just because I will do more next year, most likely. So I think it's just I wouldn't say a better use of your bankroll, but I think it just makes a lot of sense to do some high stake stuff just so if you do make it to the quarterfinals, if you do make it to semifinals, if you do make it to the finals, you have a better chance of making it to the end. Obviously, you get what you pay for in that sense, but I really like it. I think it's cool. I think it's a cool tournament. So fingers crossed I can get that team through. So we'll just hope Justin Fields has a decent day this week. Quarterback that I like this week against Detroit. Hopefully get some rushing floor, maybe get to 15 points. I don't know. I just need enough floor this week just to get my team through because I'll be really sad if I can't get this squad through. So, yeah, fun team though. I think it's kind of the illustration of just the way the quarterback position went this year because there's so many hits in quarterback that just didn't end up playing because they got hurt. So we'll change this landscape next year, but I don't know if it really should. Just because the way this season's run out is not a very common situation. But to that point, obviously any position could get injured. So either way, pretty happy with this team. Hoping I can get through. I'll keep you guys updated on that. Fingers crossed that it can get through because that would be a nice team to have through. I think the next advance rate is a 2 out of 8. So I get a 1/4 chance to get to the next round. So pretty good odds compared to, I think it's 1 of 12 to get through BBM. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, pretty good advance rate. I'm happy with that. A 20 to 25% advance rate is above average. So if I can stay in that range, I'd be pretty happy, even though I didn't max the contest. I hope to be able to do that at some point, maybe next year. But, I want to get some entries in, but not too many. It's kind of what my goal's been, and I wanted to spread out with more. I wanted to get more. So instead of doing an extra 6 BBMs, I did a couple high stakes, which I'm happy that I did that. So I'll probably do the same next year or next season. So obviously a lot of I'm ready for playoff stuff to come out. And yeah, playoff weekly winners is out. It's another one that looks pretty interesting in terms of how you want to play it. Weekly winners was a fun one to look at every week. So honestly, just a fun season. They tried a couple of new things Underdog did, and I liked some of them more than others. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Can't complain at all about the way things ran out. But let me see here. Let me pull up a couple things here. I wanted to show. Let's pull up the BBM advance rate. Let's pull up a couple here. Hold on 1 second here. pull up a couple sheets here. And obviously, like I said, we're going to be doing a lot of content. Okay. Yeah, I want to show you guys this one, and then I'll show you the BBM format of it. Because I feel like everyone kind of looks at them when it's out, but people kind of like ignore it when the season starts. So I think it's something to look at, even though like you can't change your team obviously after you draft them, but I think it's still cool to look at these advance rates and this all this information available to us. All right, let me show you this here real quick. Kind of impromptu, a little bit less like scripted out for my last roundup, but it's kind of just like something I wanted to do to make sure I like touch base before we really kicked it off with the playoff stuff. So, and I wanted to be able to look back at like what I was thinking about and maybe learn lessons about that kind of stuff next year, and kind of just like where my head was at the end of the season, because obviously very results oriented in terms of like, oh, did I succeed? Was I profitable? Did I win this tournament? Did I not win this tournament? How did I do? Did I advance this many teams? Like, so I think that's something that worth keeping an eye on, but we'll see. Fingers crossed, of course. Hopefully we have a good year this year. Yeah, we'll find out in the next 3 weeks. Best of luck to everybody else. Hoping you guys can take down some tournaments as well or get some good finishes. My hope is just to get one team into the Bestball Mania finals, because I think that's just like maximum fun. Obviously, if you don't win, if you don't like make to the top, you don't really see anything. But I think it would just be really cool to have a team in there. But I would settle for like one finals team in like any tournament, and then best case would just be like a couple finals teams somewhere like scattered around wherever it ended up being. But we'll see what happens. We have our fingers crossed. We're hoping for the best, but only time will tell. Definitely made some mistakes. Had some good reads though, like the Kyler situation. I had a good read on that. Most people were avoiding him, or a lot of people were avoiding him, and I'm glad I did take a good amount of him. I wish I got it more in BBM, but I do have some spread around other contests in terms of like Kyler Murray shares. So cool stuff there at least. Same thing with Bride, but also we have like misses. Like I didn't take much Kyron, or if at all. So that was a big miss. Hoping he doesn't bury me in the playoffs. But yeah, some other stuff that worked out, but something to learn from. Always like take shots on rookies no matter what round they're drafted in, or sometimes the sophomores could just be like 1 year late on them. So this was a cool contest. I did notice this. I don't know if this will happen next year too, but I think this is something that was really cool. They like opened like right after BBM filled, they opened like 4 contests. And actually, I should have got more entries in, but like they opened like 3 contests that were like super short and like quick, like where they were closing very fast. So there was not much time to get into these contests, but I hopped in 2 of them. I'm gonna get 1 team through. Well, most likely 1 team through. But these are pretty cool. Like it was like there was a ton of overlay, 25% overlay, 2.5K to first. So like I feel like I already have if I get the team through here, I already have a good odds to get through. How many points do I have on this one? 1432. I suppose it's possible to advance still with 1432, even though this team kind of stinks. Yeah, I was taking some Douglas. That felt pretty good, but yeah, we'll see what happens there. But it's something to think about. Like these, if you're ever gonna get overlay, it's always a good bet just to get those contests in that have overlay. Not many best ball tournaments will have overlay, so I was pretty happy to get at least like a couple entries into the tournament like this, because you already have a better chance of winning just by joining this tournament at 25% fill rate, or 25% of the field's gone. So pretty cool. There was a couple more that had some overlay as well that I should have hopped in, but still cool stuff there. But let's go ahead and look at the BBM stuff just to kind of take a look at things. End of round one to get your payout. So after round 1, if you advance a team in BBM, you're going to get your $25 back. If you guys don't really know how like the prize pool works, hey, Doesn't know how the prize pool works. This bottom one is just like basically saying you're advancing your team. So you would technically be in the top 112,000 if you advance your team through the first round, and you get your money back, and you'll get that money back like immediately. And then if you advance to the next round, you'll get at least 30, but you don't get 30 on top of your 25. That was the one thing that was really confusing to me early on, but I think it makes sense now. They pay you out right away for your min cash. And then if you get to 30, then you get the $5 on top. You don't get 30 more. So hopefully that makes sense, because you get your min cash right away, and then they'll give you an extra $5. And then, it's depending on where you place, you might get this much, that kind of thing. So just keep that in mind if you're like thinking like, why didn't I get more? What happened? Definitely something to look at in terms of like format. And these are how all the tournaments work. They pay them out like that when they advance one at a time. So a couple other tournaments I've never seen before, but I do have a couple big board teams. The first draft I ever did advancing, so that's pretty cool. Let me see here. Let's take a look at that team. I'll pull it up for you guys here. I did 10 big boards. Let's pull up this team. So this is the first team I did at all. So that was pretty cool. Yeah, so Trey Lance, obviously dead roster spot, but we got Tua, Howell, Gibbs, Hall, Mostert. So basically 3 running backs. I got P. Ryan. I was taking a lot of McBride, unfortunate. This was like the only time you can get Garrett Wilson and Jerry J. Wish in an alternate reality that could have been different, but still pretty cool. We got Ayuk, Addison. So just an absolute smash at receiver. Tight end's awful, but we have Laporta likely in Chig, so that's actually pretty good. And I see a pretty fat prize pool for this, so I'm hoping I get this team through. This team's definitely getting through. I just hope I can get some like towards the top. So very, 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 very top heavy, but a very cool contest. 200K to first. So I think I'm gonna get 2 teams through. 2 out of 10 is not bad. That's about a little over average for what you would get usually. So hopefully I can get this team through, this other one through. But getting a JJ team through is also cool, just because there's not very many JJ teams that are going to get through in comparison to the field. He's going to be lower owned in terms of like other players like Lamb or Hill or Amon-Ra. So definitely a cool player to get into the playoffs of any contest. But yeah, you could not get JJ Garrett Wilson like at any point like after like the first couple weeks, because Garrett Wilson ended up at the back of the first round. So interesting stuff there. But let's go back here. Obviously, yeah, after I think on Tuesday or Wednesday, you'll get paid out for your teams that advance to the next round. So definitely look forward to that. Hop into those gauntlet drafts or whatever you decide to do with your bankroll there or your added funds. Excuse me. Another thing to look at, I think is pretty important, is like this advance rate thing. It's really, really difficult to get through the semifinals, and then to the finals is even harder, or probably just about as hard. So looks like round 2, top 1, let's say 16-person groups. Round 3 consists of 16 person. So yeah, you have to get through 1 of 16. You have to be the top team out of 16. So you really have to hit the nuts there. So the sad reality is a lot of teams are going to get knocked out in that round and the round after that, but that's part of the deal. So I hope the best for everyone. Hopefully you guys can get one team through to the semis or the finals, and all it takes is one into the semis, and then you have one chance to get in the finals. So like that's all it really is. So yeah, it's tough, man. It's tough to get through that gauntlet of those next 2 weeks, but I'm hoping I can get 1, maybe 2 teams through to the semis, and then I'll have a couple of shots at it. But in terms of like BBM, but we'll see what happens. Only one way to find out. But I'm looking forward to it. It should be a lot of fun just to like see what happens. And like I said, I don't have you shouldn't have extremely high expectations. You just gotta hope for the best and see what happens. But I'm hoping for sure. And I'm hoping everyone that watches this, everyone that a lot of the people that are really into the community and the best ball like atmosphere and whatever, like do well. And best of luck to everyone. It's a lot of luck, a lot of skill involved too, in terms of like your roster construction and stuff like that. But the nothing but the best for everyone. So hoping that you guys all do good, and hopefully I can have a good season as well. But I think that's one really important thing is like that's why I love getting different contests in, because you get different contests, you get different ADPs, you get different formats, different advanced structures, different pods. So you just kind of give yourself more chances to get through. With BBM, if you only do BBM, it's so hard to advance teams through to like the semis and the finals, that it really is nice to have other advanced rates options in terms of like teams you can get to the finals. So, but anyways, I'm gonna stop rambling around. But best of luck this week. Hopefully, I can keep my 10, maybe 11, 12 teams through in BBM, and that would be awesome to have those teams through. That'd be sick. Over 10 is my goal. If I get 11 plus, I'm very happy with my advance rate. 10 would be I'm fine with as well, but I'd really happy with like 11 or 12 teams through. Yeah, nothing more to say other than just good luck, everybody. And I'm gonna be back here. I'm gonna do a little double header stream here. I'll be hopping right in to build and battle. Gonna do a couple battle royales and then build a DFS tournament lineup for a 4,000 tournament field, 4,000 person field. So yeah, I will see you guys in a little bit here if you guys are checking out the next stream. Otherwise, good luck in the best ball playoffs. Good luck in the playoffs in general, and catch me soon for some battle royale content. And also next week and the weeks going forward, we're going to do a lot of playoff best ball. So definitely look forward to that. My favorite contest, favorite time of the year in terms of the contests just available. They're super fun. And it's not really just because I've done well in them. It's just because I think they're just really fun to like sweat, and very clean sweats. Like, oh man, I got this team through with 10 players, man, I'm extremely live. Or I got this team left with 0 players, I have no chance of winning, So it's like very, very like cut and dry. Like I know what teams are very live and I know what I want. And it's super fun when those kind of things happen. So anyways, best of luck, everybody. Have a good weekend, and good luck in your fantasy playoffs as well. If you're in the regular season fantasy playoffs, it looks like I'm gonna get a couple teams through on that regard. Not a great year for fantasy season long for me, but had an okay couple teams that hopefully make some noise and get a championship under my belt. But yeah, hope you guys all have a good day, and I'll see you guys here in a bit if you guys are hopping in the build and battle streets. See you later.